discussing this chapter number 6, molecular basis of inheritance. In the previous session we have seen that the structure of DNA. We have also discussed that the genetic material is the DNA and how this DNA has been evolved as a genetic material. That is by the different experiment we have discussed it and you have learned it. Now today we have to see that which is the first genetic material. All of you know that the DNA is the genetic material, but which was the first genetic material? Okay, so here when we try to find out the answer of which was the first genetic material, which was the first genetic material? So here the answer is the first genetic material was RNA. RNA was the genetic material. It was the first genetic material. It was not the DNA. Okay? Why we are saying that the RNA was the genetic material, not the DNA? Because first of all, when the living organisms have been formed in the chemical evolution process, then the RNA, this is a molecule which was acting as a genetic material. But there are few problems associated with it. So from RNA, the DNA has been evolved. And now the DNA, it becomes a genetic material. But initially, RNA was the first genetic material which has been evolved. Why we can come to know that, or why we are saying that the RNA was the first genetic material that was. Okay? So the first reason is that the many processes that occurs in the living organism, they revolve around RNA. Like I will give you a few examples of the processes, which processes that evolves, and these processes even nowadays are also happening. Like for an example, you can say that transcription, translation, splicing. These are the different processes which are happening. These are the processes which revolve around the RNA molecule. This is one of the reasons why we are believing that RNA was the first genetic material that has been developed. Okay. The second thing is that there are few RNA molecules which can act as a catalyst. RNA can also act as catalyst. Okay, so this is the reason. Okay, generally we believe that the proteins or the enzymes are made up of a protein. They are acting as a catalyst. But here there are few reactions in the body, or there are few processes in the living organism in which RNA can act as a catalyst. And these are the important processes. That's why we were believing that this RNA was the first genetic material that has been developed. But as the life progresses, as the evolution occurs from the RNA, now the DNA becomes a genetic material. Why? Because here the RNA that is acting as a catalyst, it is more responsive, it is more reactive in nature, and it is less stable. Remember, why the DNA has been evolved from RNA as a genetic material? Because the RNA is more reactive. Okay? As it is a more reactive, it is a less stable. Okay, so there are few modifications that occurs in its structure, like from the single strand of a polynucleotide chain, two chains of a polynucleotide are formed. They are linked together, and there is a change in the base pair. From instead of uracil, they have you can say thymine. So these are some modifications has occurred in the structure of nucleic acid, and from the RNA, the DNA becomes, and DNA is more stable and less reactive. That's why the DNA becomes a genetic material. Okay, but the first genetic material that was RNA, and from RNA during the evolution process, the DNA becomes a genetic material. Okay, so this is about regarding the RNA. You know the full form of RNA? RNA is a ribonucleic acid. It is a single chain of polynucleotides. This is the RNA. Okay. Even nowadays, we are also observing this RNA as the genetic material in the few living organisms. Okay. So that's all about which was the first genetic material. Okay. Now we are starting with the important processes that we have to learn in this chapter. And today we are going to start is the first process called as replication. Now before I start this replication, you should know the meaning of replication. What is the meaning of replication? Replication, that means a synthesis of DNA from the DNA itself. Okay, this process is called as replication. What is a replication? A synthesis of DNA molecule, deoxyribonucleic acid molecule from the DNA itself. This is called as replication process. In short, you can say that it is a process to form a replica. It is a process to form a copy, or in simple term we are saying that it is as simple as, like you say that it is just like a formation of a photocopy of DNA or Xerox of DNA. Okay, DNA ની પોતાની exact એના જેવી જ copy બનાવે. This process is called as a replication process. Okay, so we have to learn regarding this replication process. Before I start this replication process, I just want to say you that the structure of this DNA was discovered by the two scientists. You know that James Watson and the second one is Francis Crick. These are the two scientists. They have developed few things, or they have developed or given the structure of a DNA molecule. Now if you see the structure that was proposed by the Watson and Crick, they are saying that there is a specific base pair. During their structure, they have said that they have a specific base pair. Like see, A always combines with T, C always combines with G, and the vice versa. Okay, this is the specific kind of a base pair. Such kind of a structure they have given while discovering the structure of a DNA. And at that time, they came to know that this base pair have a capacity to form its copy. And that process we are calling it as replication process. That process is called as a replication process. Now this replication process is semi-conservative process. Which kind of process it is? It's called as a semi-conservative process. Why it is called as a semi-conservative process? First I am telling you why it is called as a semi-conservative process, and then I will give you a proof with an experiment that this is a semi-conservative process. But as of now, you just have to remember that the replication process is a semi-conservative process. Why it is called as a semi-conservative process? So see, this is a structure of DNA molecule. It consists of two double strands of a DNA. One strand that is running from the 3' to 5', the another strand that is running from the 5' to a 3'. Now what happens during this replication process? First, to make its copy, both the chain has to be separated. So here there is a separation of a chain. Both the chain has to be separated. This is a one chain that gets separated. This is the another chain. Means the chain gets separated. They becomes separated. Now here the base pairs. Now this is going to be copied. Okay, see, this is going to be copied. A new chain is going to be formed, which I am showing with an orange color. Okay, the new chain which is going to be formed like this. A new chain is going to be formed. Okay, so if you see that, if you see from the one DNA, two DNA are going to be formed. Its copy is going to be formed. Okay, this process we are calling it as replication. So this is the old DNA, or you can say a parent DNA. From this parent DNA, these are the daughter DNA which are going to be formed. So if you see in the new DNA, the one chain is the parent chain. This is a chain which is obtained from parent. So this is a parent chain, and this chain is a newly synthesized chain. Okay, Even if you compare this molecule, even in this, one is this is the parent chain, and one with this orange color, that is, you can say that it is a newly synthesized chain. So in both the cases, one chain is a newly synthesized, the other is parent. So half of the DNA molecule from two chain, half of the DNA molecule that comes from the parent, or half of the bases that comes from the parent and that remains as such. Only other half are newly prepared. Other half is newly prepared. So that's why it is called as semi-conservative process. Semi means half. Okay, conservative means conserve. Okay, it preserve, protect. Okay, so it protect half of the bases that remains of a parental one, and the half are newly synthesized. That's why this process is called as semi-conservative process. Clear? And that's why we are calling this replication as a semi-conservative process. So how the replication occurs? From the DNA, both the chain gets separated, like these two chains are get separated, and then there is a formation of a newly synthesized chain. So in a newly synthesized DNA molecule, one chain is the parent one, the other is newly synthesized one. Here half chain or one chain that comes from the parent, so that's why it is called as semi-conservative process. Okay. Now, do we have a proof like this? Yes, we have a proof, and that was one experiment which suggests that the replication process is a semi-conservative process. So let us discuss the experimental proof of this sentence or this reason. Replication is called as a semi-conservative process. Let us see the proof. Okay. So here we are discussing that replication is a semi-conservative process. Okay, so this proof, replication is a semi-conservative process, that experimental proof, they were given by a scientist called as, first, Matthew Michelson, and the second one is Francis Starr. These are the two scientists. Which are the two scientists? Matthew Michelson and the Francis Starr has given an experimental proof that replication is a semi-conservative process. First of all, they have performed the experiments into a bacteria, what we call it as E. coli. Okay, the full form is Escherichia coli. Okay, I am just writing the full form. It's called as Escherichia coli. They have performed the experiment first of all on this bacteria, and they have also shown this in the higher organisms like plants. They have done it in a foie bean. Okay, and by that they have come to conclude that the replication is semi-conservative process. We will learn this experiment of Michelson and the Starr in the E. coli, this bacteria. Okay, the same thing they have performed in the plants. And in both the cases, they obtained the same result. They found that the replication is a semi-conservative process. Okay, so how they have done, and what are the steps they have done? Let us see what are the steps they have done. Okay. First of all, they allowed the bacteria E. coli into a medium containing NH4Cl. But here the medium, it contains a nitrogen with a heavy isotope of a nitrogen. In ammonium chloride, they have heavy isotope. It is not, remember, it is not a radioactive. As we have done in the experiment of a phosphorus and the sulfur, they are the radioactive, means they emit a radiation. But here it is not emitting a radiation, it is not a radioactive, but it is heavy isotope. Normally you know that N14 N14 is a normal, but here it is a N15, that is a heavy one. Okay, so here first of all, the Michelson and the Starr, they grew the E. coli bacteria into a medium containing ammonium chloride, with which it is a heavy isotope, which contains a heavy isotope of a nitrogen. So what happens? The bacteria grew. Bacteria needs a nitrogen for the synthesis of our nucleic acids and the other proteins. So they take up the nitrogen, and all the nitrogen which is present in the medium, they have incorporated in the formation of a DNA molecule. And thus heavy DNA molecule is formed, heavy DNA molecule, because all the nitrogen over here is N15. Okay, it is a N15. Now what they have done? You know the replication process. Now after growing into this NH4Cl N15 heavy isotope, they allow to grow into another medium containing NH4Cl, but it is a normal isotope, normal, because N is a 14 is a normal. Okay, first of all, they have allowed to grow into a medium which contains a heavy isotope of ammonium chloride, and here it's a normal isotope of ammonium chloride. Now you know the process. Okay, first of all, both the chain gets separated. See, both the chain gets separated. Now here the new chain is going to be formed. But now they are growing in the normal chain, a normal isotope of an ammonium chloride. So what happens? The new chain which is going to be formed, it contains N14. Okay, remember here, this one is containing a N15, and this one newly synthesized is containing N14. Same thing happens over here. Okay. Okay, so here it is a N15. This chain is containing a N15. And the newly synthesized is containing a N14. Okay, so what happens here? This is a heavy chain. The orange one is a heavy chain because it contains a heavy isotope, and this one it's called as a light chain. So here the mixing of it is going to be formed. So you can say that here the hybrid DNA is going to be formed. Which kind of DNA is going to be formed? Hybrid DNA. It's a mixture of heavy and the light. Mixture of heavy and the light. This is going to be formed. Here it takes how much minute? You have to remember that E. coli takes approximately 20 minutes to double up. Okay, so within this 20 minutes, new DNA molecules have been synthesized. Now what happens after another 20 minutes? Okay, what happens after another 20 minutes? They are again growing. They are again growing into a light medium. So these two DNA molecules, they get separated. Okay, so what happens? Here, take first one. So from this, the first one is orange, there is a heavy chain. The another one which is get separated is the light one. Now from this, one which is separated is the light one, and the other one from this is a heavy one. Okay, so these all four chain gets separated in a replication. Now there is a formation of a new chain. Now here we are growing in the normal isotope. Normal isotope. So obviously the light chain is going to be added. So here there is addition of light chain. Here there is also addition of a light chain. Here also addition of a light chain. Here also addition of a light chain. Okay, clear? So what happens? This is in this DNA, one heavy chain, one light chain. So you can call it as hybrid DNA. In this case, both chains are light, so you can say this is the light DNA. In this case, both chains are light, so this is again a light. In this chain, one heavy, one light, so you can say this is a hybrid DNA. So you can say after 40 minutes, when heavy DNA that is growing into a normal isotope of ammonium chloride, after 40 minutes, 20 plus 20, total 40 minutes, 2 light DNA are produced and 2 hybrid DNA are going to be produced. Okay, this is what happens. So that indicates that here it's a semi-conservative process. Even you can also calculate after this 20 minutes, 20 plus 20 becomes a 40. Now this is a question which you have to do in a homework. After 80 minutes, how many light, hybrid and heavy DNAs are going to be formed? At 20 પછી બીજી 20 આવશે. So 20 plus 20 40, then 60, because here they are replicating or here they are doubling at every 20 minutes. So then 20 plus 20, 40 to thai gyu. Up to 40 I have shown you. Next 20 minutes you have to again. So from this 4 DNA molecule, how many DNA molecules are formed? 8. And after 80 minutes, how many DNA molecules are formed? 16 DNA molecules are formed. From this 16 DNA molecule, how many heavy, how many light, and how many hybrid, you can find out. That you have to find it out from homework. Okay? So from this, it indicates half of the chain is a newly synthesized, the half that is a parental one. That's why we are calling it as a semi-conservative process. So this is the reason why the replication is called as DNA. Replication process is a semi-conservative process that was given by experimental proof of Michelson and the Stahl experiment. Okay, how this process occurs, that we will learn in the next session. Till then, you learn this reason and you have to prepare this experiment. Okay, so that's all about it for today. Students, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.